It seems like we are getting a new phone from China every single day and they all seem to have the exact same specs, so it's definitely not easy to choose the right phone. What's happening everyone, my name is Alex and this is the Oukitel U11 Plus. Like most phones that we've seen over the past couple of months, this one is using the exact same specs. So we have the MediaTek 6750T, which is an octa-core CPU. We also have 4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage. Out of that internal storage, we only have about 55 gigs left, but luckily you can install an SD card as internal storage. For a phone that costs about $140, this doesn't look bad at all. So we have a metallic frame, we have a super shiny back, however the back is actually made out of plastic, so it's going to be quite easy to scratch it. So you're probably better off to just keep it in that case that comes in the box. On top of that we have a fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner is also sitting on the back and a 16 megapixel camera. On the front you're gonna find a notification light. We also have a front-facing flash, another 16 megapixel camera and a 5.7-inch screen that has a resolution of 1080p. The picture quality from that front-facing camera, it's not bad as long as you have plenty of light. As soon as you don't have enough light, like most phones these days, the pictures become kind of grainy and blurry. As for the screen, well, it doesn't look bad at all, but we have rather large bezels all around it, and since the bezels are black and the phone is actually blue, I don't think it looks that great. The viewing angles are great, the brightness not exceptional, however appropriate for a phone in this price range. As for the sensitivity, it's not bad at all, so you can touch the screen in 5 places at the same time and the screen will register, and I haven't really had any issues whenever I was typing or playing games. And we are moving to the back of the device once again. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a fingerprint scanner there, and the fingerprint scanner actually works good. I mean, like most cheaper phones that we've seen from China, it's not the fastest out there, however it's accurate 9 out of 10 times. The phone is also using the stock MediaTek camera app, and that's definitely not the best looking camera app that I've seen. So the phone takes a bit longer to focus, but the pictures actually turn out good even if you don't have plenty of light. Now when I say good, don't imagine you're gonna take pictures like a Samsung Galaxy S8, I mean good for a phone in this price range. As for the pictures taken in daylight, they do have a lot of detail and the colors are very accurate as well. So for a phone that costs around $140, I can't really complain, and I think the pictures look good enough. We also have a 3.5mm audio jack, and that's definitely not something that we see every day, and the sound coming out of this one is average, so nothing spectacular but appropriate for a phone in this price range. And moving to the left hand side of the phone, you're gonna find the power button and the volume keys, and I would have preferred to have them on the other side because it's just awkward to actually press that power button on the other side of the phone. Moving to the bottom there we have what looks to be like 2 speakers, however we only have 1 speaker, a microphone and a micro USB charging port. The speaker sounds pretty good, but in the same time it doesn't get that loud, so I guess you win some, you lose some. As for that micro USB charging port, the phone supports OTG, but it takes about 3.5 hours to fully charge, so very slow. So inside this phone we have a 3700 mAh battery, and that's a pretty good size for a phone these days. However, we have that MediaTek 6750T, which is not the most power efficient CPU out there. So you're kind of gonna be able to make it through an entire day and get about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. So definitely not the best battery life that I've seen. Moving on to the GPS unit inside this phone, well, it's definitely not the best that I've tried, so it takes quite a while to actually find your location, and depending where you are, it may lose your location, like mostly if you're in between taller buildings. As for sensors, well, we don't really have that many sensors, and we don't actually have a gyroscope either. Moving on to performance, well, as we all know that MediaTek 6750T it's not crazy fast, so of course the scores that we are gonna get on the Antutu benchmark and the Geekbench 4 are kind of low. Now, even like that, I can't exactly say that this is a slow phone, because it's not. I mean, it's gonna take a bit longer to actually open apps, but once an app is loaded, it does seem to work okay. So I tried Chrome, for example, and zooming in, zooming out, scrolling up, scrolling down, everything does seem to work good. On the YouTube app, of course, the maximum resolution is gonna be 1080p, and that's the resolution of the screen, and all the videos that I watched at that resolution did go quite well. I've also tried a couple of games, and of course there are a couple of skipped frames here and there, but if you lower the graphics settings, the phone does seem to do quite good for gaming. I mean, it's gonna get a bit hot around the back towards the fingerprint scanner, but not bad at all. We also have Android 7 running on this device, and on top of that we have their own UI. Luckily the UI is very close to stock Android as well, so I don't really have any complaints about it, and we don't really get any apps that come pre-installed, so you just get the Google services, the gallery, the camera, and so on. Moving in between screens, opening apps, closing apps, and even multitasking does seem to work good, and you can even use 2 apps in the same time on the same screen, and it does seem to work okay. Connectivity wise, the phone can connect to 4G networks, of course. We have Bluetooth connectivity and dual band Wi-Fi, and that means that you can connect to the 2.4 and the 5 GHz Wi-Fi bands. And the speeds that I got over 4G and over Wi-Fi are appropriate. Not the best that I've seen, but definitely appropriate for this price range. And it's time to conclude this video. So this is yet another cheap Chinese device that's trying to make it on the market. Now, there is nothing that special about this phone. I mean, we have the exact same specs that we've seen for other 50 phones in the past. Maybe the shape is a bit better and maybe the cameras are somewhat better than average. But other than that, the phone is quite average itself. Alright guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, press that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.